is not canceled. Suffering no more. The year of spiritual transformation, healing all wounds, integrating the shadow. All right, and we are living out louder. Thank you for joining with me tonight. I wanted to go with you guys, meet up with you. This is the halfway point of 2020. I think we all can agree this has been quite a year. Maybe if you started off very early in the year, you had a list of things and goals that you wanted to set forth for the year. I think all the many events that's taken place has put quite a pause on that. And I think the consensus too is, let's just close this year up. And that's wasted time. I think what we're doing right now in all of these events that have taken place, we have really identified what is really of any value to us and the many things that hold no value. What really truly matters. No longer valuing the valueless. Every day is a precious gift. Now, we may have known that before, but now we're in this conundrum where we feel like it's, 2020 is just, we can't wait till it's all over. Everybody is going around politicizing mass cases, all the toxicity is coming up. And so again, that may have put a pause on some of the goals and dreams and ambitions that you may have had. If you didn't even have any of those, but because of these events, you realize what's no longer important. And what this is not a wasted year, no more wasted days, wasted time. All these toxic events that are coming up is actually a great opportunity for healing. Every opportunity properly perceived is an opportunity to heal. And that's what I wanted to join with you guys in a discussion tonight. 2020 is not canceled. This is a great opportunity and to end suffering, to suffer no more, because in fact, this is a great awakening, a year of spiritual transformation. And the many ways that we can do that to move forward, because all these events has put a lot of us in fear. Fear to step forward, fear to share our gifts with the world. And that cannot happen because in this time, at this very second, every day counts. Every one counts. And the world needs you. The world needs the medicine that you have. And you delaying any of that any longer is one day away from someone able to heal from what you have to offer. And what I wanted to go over tonight is the many ways that we can do that. Now, if history has ever shown us, maybe some of the things is the economy is the way it is, and are we ever going to get out of this? I'll tell you, history has shown us that in the Depression, which almost lasted over 10 years, it was a poverty consciousness. Many, many people in the country, they had a poverty consciousness. And there's many people, because when we think of that, we think of poverty, we think of despair. But in fact, there was many, many people who were prospering. They saw the opportunities in greater ways that they can serve. And we all have our very unique ways of being able to be in service. You know, I have a specific day. I have themes that I have every day, and I have a day dedicated to this. If you're new to me, let me introduce myself. My name is Dave Vargas. I love to write, personal development, and speak on personal development. The core of what I do is I'm a transformation mindset coach. Okay, to improve the quality of our life, we have to improve the quality of our thoughts. And I have a day specifically set just for service. And there's many ways that we can be of service. Our time, money, loyalty, our energy. And that's what I wanted to speak about tonight. There is no reason why you can't give. And one of the many reasons that we don't give as well is we feel, because of the way things are on the outside, that we think if we give anything, that's a sacrifice. And then when we have a sacrifice, we'll have less of that. But true sacrifice is giving up things of a lower nature so you can receive something of a higher nature. Some of the things also can be that you are afraid to. Some of the beliefs that you have is preventing you from stepping forward to share your medicine with the world. Some of your blocks to love, some of your blocks. And that's why this is a great opportunity, because it's pinpointing to us this time, the events that we're having is putting a spotlight on the things that may trigger us, things that may be fearful of us, and the way that we react to certain events, certain challenges. And what we need to do when that happens is realize we have to go within. That's part of the hero's journey. Part of the hero's journey is we have to step over that barrier of fear. Okay, we have to step over that barrier of fear to go into the unknown. We normally want to stay in comfort, where it's safe, where we already know how things will go. Although there's something in us a deep desire to serve, to be more, to be the higher being that we have in our mind, in our heart. But you see, that's the hero's journey. The ones that we see that go forth, it's not that they're not scared. It's not that they don't have any fear. But what they had was courage. You see, what courage is going forward despite the fear. And when you go forward, even though fearful, more of you has to come up to the surface. More of you has to go up to the surface. And that is when you meet your highest self. That is why it's the hero's journey. That is why it is said, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. The treasure that you seek and the treasure that you find is you, your most authentic, highest self. And we're only going to do that if we heal, if we allow ourselves to heal, if we allow ourselves to go forward despite fear, if we allow ourselves to heal the wounds. But we have to look at them. We have to look at them. We have to make the unconscious conscious. Some of the things that trip us up, we're not too sure about it. That self-sabotage us. Are there many things that in your life, write them in the comments now. Are there some things that you know that you would love to be doing, you know that you should be doing, but you stop just short of it? You stop just short of making yourself happy. Stopping short of going forward with what you know that you can do, what you know that you should do, to give, to serve, to give the medicine of the world, to be the light of the world. And what stops you, I mean, put it in the comments now. I'd love to hear that. If anyone encounters that. And what stops us, what self-sabotage us, is the ego, the split mind, the identity, the past experiences that have happened throughout our whole entire life. Those past experiences, we put them all together and we've confused that as that is our identity. This is me. And that's not you. You are not your collection of past data and past experiences. And those that follow me a lot hear me speak of the ego, the split mind a lot. Especially, I teach a course in miracles. I share the lessons every day and I speak of the ego very much. But there's also a part of you, the shadow, the one that is the one that is going to sabotage you at every corner, that makes you play small. The one that when you know you're going to get up and serve and be more of who you really are, cuts you off. The shadow is the one when we are stuck at the lights, we get cut off and we want to rage and we want to cause even more confusion in our life. We don't want to admit that. We don't want to admit that. But there's sides of us that causes and can be toxic to others. We want to make the unconscious conscious. We want to bring that up. If we don't look at ourselves, we can never embrace ourselves fully. And that's very hard to do because, let me tell you, I work with a lot of people. I work with a lot of clients one-on-one. And some people, there's a tiny percentage, very, very fearful. And the population as a whole is very fearful to look at themselves. They'd rather just tiptoe safely to their grave, you know? Or maybe the old conditioned programming that we've had is to just, well, maybe, you know, when I retire from a job that someone gave me is when I will do what I want and live my life the way that I want. Is that any way to live? To give yourself permission when you're old and gray. That's the split mind. That's the shadow sabotaging you at every corner, to play small, to rage and condemn against the world and cause chaos and confusion at every turn. And thank you everyone for joining with me tonight on the live and also on the watch party. I appreciate it. Everyone say hello when you go on here. If you have any questions with what I'm saying and any concerns that you're having this year so far, let me know. We are in this together. This is what living out louder is. Living out louder is the amplified you, the journey, the rising to being your highest self, the amplified you. This is what I'm dedicated to. As I said, I work with many clients, one-on-one, and they get to enjoy breakthroughs to meet their highest self. There is nothing more satisfying than sharing healing and seeing people live as their most authentic self. But it is fear. When we're our most authentic self is when we're no longer living in fear. That's our normal state. The creator, whoever name that you want to associate with it, and I'm not one on labels. You know, when you label anything, you take away and limit its power. Alan Watts said a very long time ago, you can't get wet from the word water. But your natural state that the creator made you in, your natural state is of love. Is of love. But we learned fear here. You know, when we're children, we didn't have a care in the world. And for anything, sometimes we fantasize, oh, I wish I was a child and didn't have all these responsibilities. And this adulthood is, you know, for the birds. But the real wish is we wish we didn't have all this judgment and self-hate on ourselves. We learn fear here. When we're at parties now, get together, family celebrations, and we see the young children, the music's on, we're all in the living room, and we'll just see kids just dancing around. They don't care. you know, they're jiving, they're dancing to the music. And they don't care. They don't care who's looking at them. They're not thinking beforehand, I think, oh, do I look fat? Do I look okay? Am I doing the right moves? That's where we want to get back to. But we learn fear here. And that was other people's wounds. That was other people's, hurt people hurt people. It wasn't because of who you are. It was because of their conditioned programming. It was because of their repetition of information that the previous generation to them didn't know how to show them love, didn't know how to make them feel safe, make them feel a place of trust, safety. Talk with them. We can break that, but we break that by facing the wounds. Again, every opportunity properly perceived is an opportunity to heal. And if we're not, on this great adventure of life, if we're not here to grow, to evolve, to want to be our most highest authentic self, what are we really here to do? We're creative beings. Okay? We are creative beings. That is what we are. We are co-creators. We were given creative gifts, creative mental faculties to create with. We weren't here to tiptoe safely to the grave. And these are faculties of the mind, not anything on the outside like our antennas of, sight, hear, taste, touch. Those only give us a fraction of the truth. And that's why I wanted to call this get together tonight, is I wanted to call it the 2020 is not canceled. Because yes, doesn't mean I'm ignoring that there's a lot of things going on. But you don't have to accept that as your truth. You don't have to accept that that is where you stop. Because anything on the outside should not dictate how you feel, how you act, and how you behave. It's not canceled. This is the halfway point. I set certain goals for myself. Already halfway through the year, 6 months, no alcohol, 6 months of no TikTok, and 6 months of no Tiger King. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself, but in all sincerity, nothing on the outside of us should dictate what's going on the inside of us, despite what's going on around us. Despite what's going on around us, we want to step forward. Now, how are we going to do that? So as I mentioned, we want to look at our wounds. We want to look at that shadow of us, the part of us that we want to ignore, the one that may do some not so nice things. That's the person that we want to look at. The personality trait in us. We want to look and integrate that. You can integrate, heal the wounds, and integrate the shadow and become whole. We don't need anything on the outside of us, anyone or anything to make us whole. We are already whole. The only thing that needs to heal is the perception of our mind. And anyone that has gone through a lot of challenges know they had to go forward despite the fear and accept some of the things and the responsibility that they had in the challenges of their life. So with the chaos and confusion, that's how we go forward. Through chaos and confusion, what we need to do is create order. From this moment on, there's a little less than 6 months left of this unique year. This year will be a year that we will not soon forget. It will be in the history books. But in the chaos, in the confusion, make it a part of that story that you step forward. Through the chaos and the confusion, the way to combat that is through order. Whether you had a set of intentions and goals the start of this year or not, you have really, I'm sure, have come to really realize what you value, what you no longer value. So one of the things, whether you have a notebook or a pen or not, or you can go back and watch this later on, is to write right now. Right now, what you're going to do to step forward. Write down now what's most important to you, what you love. What you love about yourself, what you love doing, how you want to serve, what you want to experience the rest of this year. We're here to create, we're here to love. We can create anything that we want to create. We can do whatever it is that we want to do, but we have to be willing to sit down with ourselves and identify that. What do you want? Really, what do you want to experience? Do you know? And I don't mean a kinda. I don't mean a wishy-washy, vague. Write it down. And do not discount whether it's because you think it can happen or not. And it's not just a want, it's what do you want to experience? How do you want to give to the rest of the world? What do you want to experience from this moment forward? Write it down. Through the chaos and confusion comes order. If there's no order, if there's no list, you'll be in the chaos. And every day will just be random. And every year will just be like the one before it. Whether this year was any different or not, what was the big difference from other years? There's many opportunities. History has shown us that. And I was mentioning the Depression, and people found opportunities in ways because of what's going on, new, better ways to serve, to be more, to give more. So that's a big opportunity to write down through chaos and confusion. And when you are going through your day-to-day, you have your list. No matter what's going on, you know what to focus on. If something wants to trip you up, you know what to look for. You know what you're looking at. And is it bringing you closer to your goals, or what you're doing bringing you further away? And that's another reason of why the second thing that we can do is the healing work. You know, when we're writing down our intentions, our goals for the rest of this year, what do we value? What do we want to experience? But also, what do we believe in? And many of the beliefs that we picked up, we've inherited that from other people. I mean, I really think about this. We've inherited who we think we are and our beliefs from the people that raised us. When we were tiny, when we were small, when we were children, we learned this is how they treat money. This is how they treat love. This is how they communicate, good or bad or indifferent. It was a repetition of information, just like your name. They had to say it thousands upon thousands of times for you to realize that was your name. That was the word that they used to identify you. Think about that your name is just merely a word used to identify you. It's not who you are. When you were born, they never said, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a Naomi here. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have an Amber here. I think we have a Michelle here. And that's not true. We're an eternal being, birthless and deathless. Think about that. But those beliefs that we picked up on were a repetition of information. We're not pre-programmed. That's just been conditioned into us. The great news on this is that we can sit down with writing our list, what we value, what we don't value anymore, and how we want to experience the rest of the year, despite what anyone else thinks of us, despite whether we even think that we can do it or not. And with a repetition of new information, a new belief is born. A new belief has been now embedded and programmed into your subconscious mind. You have a beautiful, magical mind that is capable of doing anything that you focus upon. Consistent focus. We have such a miraculous, magical mind that the Creator gave us, the divine intelligence, gave us the gifts of creation. And yet what we focus upon is limitation, judgment, condemnation, poverty. This divine intelligence is going to give us anything that we ask for. Never says no. It's going to give us, and he'll say yes. I'm fairly broke. In fact, I'm broke, and the bill collectors won't stop harassing me. And the divine intelligence is going to say, yes, yes, you are broken. I'm going to give you more experiences that will match that. But if you change the information around, that I am strong, I am love, I am unlimited, over every day, the universe will not deny you. It will. Yes, you are strong. You are love. And you are unlimited. I will give you more experiences to support that. We're never denied, and we're either creating our own heaven and our own hell. And we have no one else to blame for that. But that's part of healing. And that's the bitter pill that we have to swallow. Are you willing to do that? These are many ways that you can transform this year. Despite what's going on, many people throughout history, against many inconceivable odds, decided how they were going to serve their brothers and sisters to be the light of the world. And they did it. And this was many, many years ago. We have even more opportunities now and avenues, the internet. I'm speaking to people tonight on the other side of the world. We have more than we ever realized. We just have to decide that we want to do that. I also wanted to take this opportunity. Second season of my podcast is going to start July 30th, Thursday night. I'm going to share more details on that. I also wanted to share, because my calendar opened up, and I have about 3 to 4 spots that I can go one-on-one with clients. These are intensive. These are going to be 6 sessions. This is going to be 6 weeks. We're going to do a lot of energy work. We're going to do a lot of healing. We're going to integrate the shadow. We're going to rise and heal the perception of our mind so that we're standing in our wholeness, standing in our truth. And we are going to serve the world as the light of the world that we are. So I have 3 to 4 spots open for that. So I wanted to let everyone know about that. We're going to identify the life path and purpose. We're going to get more aligned. We're going to clean off the filters of that perception. We're also, as I said, integrate the shadow, reform new beliefs in the subconscious mind. This is going to be profound acts of self-love. This is for only people that are very serious, that want to have spiritual transformations in their life, and they will not have to think about it. That's going to be going for $1,111. And that's going to change at the end of August when I relaunch that. And that's going to be $1,500. Act now. Time is not an issue. Money is not an issue, and there's nothing to think about. This year has taught us. Let's not waste any more time. Go forth despite the fear. To start living out louder. No more suffering. Suffering no more. This is a life we want to squeeze everything that we can out of it to be our most highest authentic self. So comment and message me if you're watching this live, whether it's any questions on some of the things that you can do that I shared with you tonight. Because 2020 is not canceled. This is a time of actual great awakening. This is a year of spiritual transformation. Okay? So comment and message me on anything I shared with you tonight. And if it is something that you do want to work one-on-one intensively with me, message me and we'll begin right away because spots are limited. All right. That's all I have for you for tonight for now. And I do want to thank each and every one of you for joining with me tonight. I love every single one of you. You are a gift. Thank you. Until next time, good night.